Welcome back to NGF News, everybody. This is our latest global developments episode, and we have a couple of good topics today. These are some interesting ones. The first one is the Russians ship Sabotage, which is they have been in the Northern Sea planning sabotage, and then the next one is Germany shutting down its last three nuclear power plants
These are fairly recent. I think as of
yesterday.
or yeah,
Yeah,
at the time of this recording, which is on April 19th. Not even yesterday, almost like a few hours ago.
the Russian one was a few hours
Oh
ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
the nuclear power plant one was
it was
a little
like
apart.
2 days ago, but
Yeah.
still.
But this is major. So what's going on right now is Russia has created this like sort of plan to sabotage wind farms and communication cables in the North Sea, according to new allegations. These are just allegations because there have been ships, unmarked fishing ships, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
fishing trawlers, as they call them.
Yep, that have been armed with unmarked Russian troops as well,
Hmm.
that have been patrolling the North Sea, but have visited all wind farms in the North Sea. So if you go to BBC, they have a fantastic map where you can see the route that they're following, which is pretty cool. So this comes from a joint investigation by public broadcasters in Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. They have said that the same thing, that the fleet of vessels is disguised as fishing trawlers and research vessels also. And they're carrying underwater surveillance equipment and are mapping key sites for possible sabotage.
Yes, this has apparently been going on for months, and they've been doing this investigation for a while. They have a really good picture of what looks like an armed Russian soldier on a vessel. So they tried to get away with it. I mean, it's still, you know,
It's still a big
it's still
if.
a big if, but you know, they're the picture shows a lot, and the route shows a lot too, because all these wind tunnels, or these wind farms, if you look at where they are, it starts from like where the base is near Finland. It goes down. You go to Sweden, Denmark. Go across to Scotland. Outside of Denmark, and then the UK, or I'd say Britain. Um, so this is a travel path of like why if you're fishing a research vessel, it's like a why.
Yeah,
Why would you?
interesting.
Yeah.
It's like very interesting.
Why would you go there? Why would you map
You up
specific
to?
route of wind turbine? Because it's not like it's like oh, they just like, oh, we passed it. It's
It's
like
like clear, like they are like
the vessel stopped there. Move to the next one. Stop there. Move to the next one. Stop there. Move to the next one. So it's a pretty clear path. And it yes, that what the officials are saying that the investigation are okay. They're just mapping out for potential invasion from the west. Why in the North Sea?
why?
Why?
That's the biggest
That's the
question.
big
Is
question.
why? What is going on inside Putin's mind? What
Mhm.
is he trying to prepare? What is he trying to map? Clearly, obviously, it's something strategic where he wants to knock off all these wind farms, eliminate their energy, and eliminate what was it they were looking for? They were wind farms and
Key sites for possible
telecommunications,
stab. Yeah,
underwater
telecommunications.
telecommunications.
Yes.
So what Putin is planning, if there is, see, this is what I'm thinking. Like, why is he planning to sabotage the West? Does he think that there's going to be a confrontation with the West, to which he's planning in case he wants to immediately attack these,
Yeah.
which is kind of scary.
Danish counterintelligence officer says the sabotage plans are being prepared in case of full conflict with the West. Norwegian intelligence told the broadcasters the program was considered highly important for Russia
Yeah,
and controlled directly from Moscow.
interesting.
That's interesting because looking at this from a strategic standpoint, we all know that this is the most their strongest military or naval bases and what they can do with their navy outside of looking at the islands about Japan that are north of Japan. Those are their strategic points. But if you're looking at some naval battle between the UK, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, I mean, just look at the route in general. How difficult is this route for the Russians? Because, I mean, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland surround the Russians if they were to go on this route.
Mhm.
If they go up above, they have to go through the Arctic. That's tough. And then you got to meet the UK.
Right.
I mean, that's tough too. So what is the perp? I mean, sabotage, sure, whatever. They're gonna knock out their wind
You know what I
turbines, but
think it is?
yeah,
A few days ago, all Nordic nations, when they created the Nordic Air Force, the
oh
full
yeah, that's
Nordic Air
right.
Force.
Full one.
Yep. So now you have all these four countries. Right, am I right? Four countries. So you
It
have
would be
Sweden, yeah,
Denmark.
Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark.
I believe Denmark would be a
Yep.
part of it.
So
Yes.
all four of them, 250, I believe, strong, 250 aircraft. I think this is a direct response to this kind of new Air Force, um, Air Force counteroffensive against Russia.
Call it that. Yeah.
Air Force Pact. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because you could either interpret it two ways. Is this a direct response to this new pact and Russia trying to protect themselves in case that in the unfortunate circumstance that there is an invasion from the West, or they're planning a sabotage into preempting something for in a preemptive move. Maybe they want to sabotage now. Who knows?
Why wind turbines? Like that makes up for less than like 5% of their energy.
I guess it's
You
probably
knock
what
them out. What's the you?
I think that's probably what they're trying to like what they can hit. They're trying to hit whatever they can,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But most importantly, the telecommunications line. I think they're more focused on that because they're trying to eliminate any way to communicate. And I think what they're trying to do is okay. Well, now we have air defense pact
Yeah.
in the North Sea. If we can cut off communication between all four of those countries, then it'll be hard for them to coordinate something. So
True. That's true.
yeah.
And here's another thing I think that the UK should be worried about, and the rest of them mines. What? Who knows what they were dropping in the waters if they were spotted? If they spotted the vessels, like
Only at the wind
yeah,
farms
at the
because
wind
they had
farms. Yeah.
their transmitters offline. Everything like you could not find those ships. They were
No.
essentially ghost ships unless you saw them at a wind farm.
Yeah.
So
It's
by the time that they were traveling from wind farm to wind farm,
what were they dropping? What were they mapping exactly to? What routes? What could they
yeah,
have been dropping? Technology they could have been dropping to, cyber takedown networks.
hmm
To be very difficult for that part, but like mines are not difficult because let's hypothetically say, West Coast War, the UK, that's their only place to fend over naval ships, and they hit a mine. Boom. One ship down. Boom. Another ship down. I mean, this is a big area. This is not a, uh, this is a strategic line they went in because to get to where they need to go, you have to either go around the Arctic, which is hard, or go through Denmark and then go through um past Sweden, up through Finland, and then they're there. I mean, you could if you plant mines along that path, just you completely stop them from getting there.
yep,
But the Arctic is just almost impossible unless it's the summertime to get through. So it could be a strategic thing that they're planning for again war. Maybe not just take down their network, but like prevent their navy from getting to the Russian homeland. And it makes me think, what are they doing on the Japanese side and the Chinese side? What are the Chinese doing? Help them with that, like kind of
you think
naval.
are you saying that they're involved in what's going on over there?
Who knows what the Chinese are doing?
That is true.
They're
That's
they're
fair.
so
That is
they're
true.
so secretive and so intelligent in how they maneuver the global landscape. Like, what are they doing? Who knows?
Yeah, that's fair actually.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But we're gonna just have to see on that one. Maybe we'll have any of these four countries, maybe the four air packed countries come up with something. United Kingdom. We're gonna see. This is like brand new.
They definitely
We
need
don't
a
know
sonar.
what the sonar absolutely. I think that's what they should be doing right now. And maybe they might be engaged in that. Who
Yeah,
knows?
probably.
We won't know, obviously not. But I hope they're engaged in like trying to figure out what it was that they were throwing into the ocean,
Yeah, because the
into the
UK,
sea.
like
Sorry.
said, they perceive this as a threat, or they don't
Yeah.
perceive this as a threat. Like, what?
But they take their cables and wind farm seriously. But they don't see it as a threat just yet. Which is just like But they take it seriously though. I don't know what the gray line why is there such a gray zone? But
Yeah, there really is a gray zone, especially with the UK for some reason.
yeah,
You know, they're usually like, oh, if there's like a threat to their homeland, there's a tough stance. Always
yep,
in history. So this is a weird gray zone. Or they just, you know, maybe they already know what's going on and they're just like they know that it's not a threat. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, this is a bold for the
the Russians.
Russians to be
And it
that
also raises a
close.
question on like if we just caught them now after a month,
What have they been doing before?
what have they been doing before? Exactly. Then what have they been up to ever since? If we have just caught them.
Because it's not like these wind turbines aren't like you look at the ones that are near like England, they're close to the shore. Like they're not far.
Oh yeah, if you
That
look
cluster at
that
the
map,
bottom of the map,
yeah.
yeah, that cluster is not far offshore.
It's like right there. It's like how do you not notice like a bunch of dudes holding AKs on a boat,
That's yeah, that's
masked up?
in if it's in the 12-mile radius, that's in UK waters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
all of those are UK,
yeah,
not in UK, in like national waters, if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken, right?
yeah. And especially the ones in Denmark. I mean, like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? Like, what are they not? What is these countries missing? How are they missing this? Seeing this vessel, even if it's an unmarked vessel, that's even more notion to go investigate.
Right.
If it's an unmarked vessel, because you're like, what are you doing here? What like even if it's an accidental unmarked fishing vessel,
Yep.
what are
What
you
what brings
doing?
what brings you here at this specific wind farm location and the specific line of my telecommunications?
Yeah, that's so weird that they're just like a month later they're putting out this press instead of calling them out.
Yeah.
You know, if they saw it earlier.
I
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a weird one.
It's weird and it's scary and I don't like it.
I don't like it either, and I think that that's definitely a cause for NATO to do a lot of big investigation.
Oh yeah.
Because yes, okay, well that if they're just mapping out wind tunnel or wind farms, whatever.
But why though?
But
It's still
why
why?
investigate? Just a preliminary thing, anything small. Just do something to figure out what the path was. Because this is not a you know this path is not. It looks funky and wonky, but it's not. It's
It
not.
looks deliberate. It looks like
It's
properly
deliberate
planned.
because like you can see how if you look at the first line where it comes from, and then how it intersects here, and then it goes. Crap, I lost it. I don't know where the first line really goes. But it's a deliberate try to confuse them. How they come into the shore
It's
here, they come
properly
out, they come
planned.
back in, they come back out. They split the lines going backwards. It's like a deliberate thing.
And notice how they didn't go into like they stayed on the outskirts of the North Sea. If you see that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't go towards like the middle of the sea to get to the other wind farm. So obviously they're avoiding.
They came back that way though.
Hold on.
They came back that way through the middle.
Kind of, yeah.
Or
But it's not even just like direct.
yeah. I know what
It's
you
kind
mean
of like
there.
they went. For those who don't know what we're talking, we're looking at the BBC's
Yeah,
mapping right now, and we're just trying to make some sense of it. But very interesting, and I I believe that everybody should look at it and to
I
see.
agree. NATO needs to investigate
Yep.
because that's NATO waters.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's NATO waters.
Yeah.
That just is. And they need to look at it.
But other than that, for now, I think that kind of wraps up that portion.
Yeah.
We'll keep everyone updated. Check our Instagram pages. If there's anything major, we will post it on our Instagram pages, and that's kind of like our first line of communication
Yep.
to everybody. So yeah,
All
interesting and
right.
scary. But moving on to the next latest global development, which is Germany shutting down their last nuclear power plant and what their energy future entails. So, after following years of using nuclear power plants, Germany pledged to fully quit its nuclear power program following the 2011 Fukushima disaster. So, the Fukushima disaster occurred in Japan, and then Germany on 2012 was like,
Angela Merkel.
Angela Merkel was like, we will have to phase out nuclear power plants. So, um, they were going to do this before, but because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, they kept it open for a little bit
Hmm.
until they were able to just now what did they fully shut them off yet?
Not yet. By midnight on Saturday, the
There we go.
SR2, the Emsland, and Neckar Weisslam 2 are going to be on offline.
Yep.
They're old Cold War nuclear energy plants, and they would cost a lot of money to keep up and renovate. But like they were one of the innovators in the 1960s and 70s in nuclear energy.
Right.
Chernobyl turned them off a little bit, and then Fukushima was just like, all right, now we need to get rid of them. But conservative commentators in the country, politicians, that the Green Party plans to scrap their nuclear power plants are just not good with the cutting prices of Russian energy, and then the prices are just going to be so high now because now there's just
Correct.
low sources of energy, and now the government is increasing its reliance on fossil fuels. Which I mean, they tried their majority, and 44%, I should say, is renewables, and they've been trying to use wind and solar, which are just not effective and efficient. At the moment, Germany is not a very sunny country in general, and then the wind is just, they're not powerful enough yet. The wind turbines are not powerful enough to produce enough energy. So
Yeah.
nuclear was a big part, and coal and natural gas was a big part of it.
I mean, I'm just looking at this graphic. Nuclear used to be good. It was one of the second most used up until 2010, and then renewables kind of took over the use of nuclear.
Hmm.
But here's my thing, right? I understand why they would phase out nuclear. We still don't know what to do with that waste. But that's not to say that the economy is ready for such a drastic shift. Yes, maybe like 5, 10% of infrastructure in Germany was powered by nuclear, but that's
It's 6%
6%.
now in 2022.
But that's 6% that now have to readjust
It's
to
gonna be it's
renewables,
gonna be fossil fuels.
and it's going to be fossil fuels until they have the capacity to add renewables to the grid.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
So their renewables include solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, biomass, and household waste. I don't know what household waste means, but I know what the rest of them do. And hydro's a good one. Hydro's always been a good one. But this is, yeah, look, nuclear energy, we know. Okay, yes, we don't know how to waste it, but we know that it's the most efficient form and cleanest form of energy when we figure out how to either reuse it or
And it
dispose
can
of
be
it.
reused. It's just
Yeah,
we need time to
dispose of it.
continue researching
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
research. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you can reuse a lot of nuclear waste into actual like
we're still figuring out fission, right?
I believe that's what the term I was looking
Yeah,
for. It's just like where you use the waste, right, to put in active nuclear material again,
yeah.
and it becomes active altogether. But we're still working on that, and that's still more time is needed.
It's
But
92% efficient rate. From prior research that I've done through Brookings Institute, but it is expensive. We can't deny that. It is expensive. But the thing is if we can have that as the dominant source of our economies, and I'm not saying completely dominant, but a predominant
a
one,
good portion of
a
it.
good portion. I mean, the cost could be lowered because of how efficient it
Yep.
is. Because you don't need as many plants, like you need coal, like you need gas, like you need oil. It's efficient, it's effective, and it going down has always been a case of human error.
Right.
I mean, Chernobyl's human error, Fukushima is human error. It wasn't because of it just collapsed, it
Yep.
failed. It's human error.
Correct. And the thing with nuclear is you can't use renewables for very big infrastructures. When we're talking about like things like factories.
Yeah,
It's
it's tough.
renewables are not to the point where they can power big infrastructures like that. Nuclear would be perfect for the use of using it to power factories, to power anything that a country really needs to operate. So,
Especially when you're a large car manufacturer like
oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen,
That's a lot of
Mercedes,
renewable they need
BMW.
to plug in to try to produce all that, all the
And
cars that they make.
and solar can do it, but you need a lot.
You need a
A
lot.
lot. It's like because it and they always bring up the case for Africa. It's like if we put like 1,000 square miles of solar panels across the Sahara, we can power all of Africa. Yes, you can. But how many days of the year is it sunny in Africa? Like 90%? 90% of the days of the year is it sunny, especially in the sub-Saharan Africa. How many days of the year is it sunny in Germany? I mean, let's look at half the pictures that they take online in Germany.
It's all
It's
cloudy.
cloudy. And so solar is automatically a difficult one, an expensive task. Also, you have the environment by building on it. You have to knock down trees.
Right.
Then you go to wind, and wind is not efficient yet. We haven't figured out how wind can be efficient. So the next steps are things like hydro. Hydro's been great for them. It has. Hydro's been great for a lot of European countries. Geothermal has been great. I've never seen household waste before, but I guess it could work. I'm not a scientist. I'd have to do more research on that. And biomass has been proven to be great in other places. But they're smaller scaled renewables compared to things like wind and solar.
Yep. And I also want to add that nuclear power proponents of Germany, they believe that Germany is still not ready yet for wind and solar energy, and then they will probably revert back to nuclear anyways if they don't have renewables. Yeah, or if they don't have renewables up to par where they need to be by 2045. So they could just they're going to replug if they don't have it by then, which maybe they might have figured it out, and might made wind and solar super efficient that we might not need nuclear anymore. But
Or they'll figure
I
out
mean, but for
nuclear.
the time being, we shouldn't reduce our reliance on nuclear. I think nuclear is a good stepping stone to move away from things like coal, oil, things like that.
I think nuclear is probably the most, and in my personal opinion, I think it's the best way to get to
I
renewables.
agree. I like it. It's the best if we knew how to take care of waste,
Yeah.
if we knew how to combine it again into actual fuel, nuclear fuel.
Yeah.
Because you have active and then you have waste. Active is what goes in, then you get the waste. But there's ways that I forgot what the term was called. I did research on this. I forgot the term, but there's a method in which scientists are trying to figure out to literally fuse waste with active. And then because the waste is still radioactive,
Yeah.
it's just like not enough to how do I say this? Not enough to like power.
To have net produce.
To not yeah, correct. But if you combine it with another source, it'll recharge and it'll essentially have the same amount as if it were active again.
And with
So
all of that net energy that's even waste that
so
can
now
still
you have
power.
literally almost technically like an unlimited source, almost, because so you still need the active, but now you have active waste, active waste, active waste, active waste. So now you're reusing almost half of all the nuclear stuff going out.
Yeah.
And then you can just keep recycling it and recycling it and recycling it.
That's another good thing about hydro is if you have really, really strong currents,
Oh yeah.
it's just constant. And if we can even simulate current like that, it's constant. So that's a big thing. Germany's future, and I'm gonna say this in general. Europe's future. What is it? And right now, it's not renewables. I mean, France and Germany are the leaders in that in renewables and nuclear.
France and Switzerland are heavy
Yeah,
on nuclear
and
right now.
Switzerland, yeah, and I just think they should be because I mean, France's infrastructure is incredible. So is Germany's. So is Switzerland's. I mean, it's incredible. The UK is doing better. Also has really good infrastructure. And so this is a big picture problem for the future. Getting rid of Germany's nuclear energy can spark concerns with countries like Switzerland, with countries like France. How much should we rely on it? And they could start docking back too, and that can cause problems. And so I think the biggest thing that they really need to look at is Germany needs to look at is to not just getting rid of things, but looking at diversification of
Absolutely.
energy.
Absolutely.
Diversification is the new. It's the new. I had a word for it in the next topic of the week. It's the new way that we have to define energy reliance or
Dependency?
energy security. Energy
Energy security.
security. It's the new terms that one of the new terms is that they're looking at is diversification, and I agree. diversification is going to be the new term because we can't just rely on oil anymore because it's a frisky market now.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. That's I don't have much else to say on this
Yeah.
one. If you don't have anything else to say on this one,
No, I'm good.
cool.
Two good topics this week. And to, like again, the Russian one, this one's gonna be one that we're gonna be like step by step because, in my personal opinion, I don't care what the UK says. This is an act. This is the next steps to acts of war
Yep.
because they are in um international waters. They're not international. They're national waters in most cases, and so that's a scary thought. And then Germany's reliance on the Russian oil and energy is going to be huge going into something like that. So
Yep.
yeah,
I do want to see what the consequences are of them turning down their last nuclear power plant. That would be interesting to see.
yeah, see
And I can't wait to see
what they come up with too.
what they come up with next.
Yeah,
So, but other than that, this was kind of this today's latest global developments.
yeah,
If you guys have any specific things you want us to eye, please let us know.
absolutely,
But other than that, we will see you all in the next episode.
awesome.